I had a discussion yesterday with a good friend and mentor about what holds people back. And it led me to looking for and remembering what I had read in Napoleon Hill. This is an article from Bob Proctor, pretty well known self help. He did the movie The Secret. It's a good title to make you want to watch it. So I want to read this to you. I'll do it kind of quickly, but it was entitled The Six Ghosts of Fear. I've been studying Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill every day since October 21st, 1961. Long time. So I know it pretty well, I would guess so. As you may know, Napoleon Hill spent many years researching and analyzing success. In the end, he found that there are 13 principles for accumulating a fortune or for succeeding in any endeavor. However, at the end of the 13th principle, Hill included a chapter called The Six Ghosts of Fear. At first, it struck me that Hill included the chapter there, but then it became clear to me overcoming these ghosts of fear is the key to being able to execute the 13 principles of success, because fear stops more people from reaching their goals and dreams than anything else. Good point. Such a bad way to live. I want you to think of the number of people who are in a job they don't like. That was me for many years ago. This is Bob Proctor talking. I was looking for what to do and what to do after I got out of the Navy. I decided to take a course on welding, and I ended up working for a man who was not a nice person. He treated me terribly. It was in the dead of winter, so it was cold and snowy all the time, and I had to go from one end of the city to the other end to get there. I hated going to and working there. But all the way there, I was afraid I was going to get fired. Isn't that silly? Why do we continue to do things that we don't like? Because we're afraid we won't get something else or something better. And that fear keeps us from pursuing the things that we do like, the things we want to do and have in life. It's all in your head. That's the title of the section he wrote here. Napoleon Hill made it very clear that if you don't overcome your fears, you're probably about as far as you're ever going to go. He called them ghosts because the fears are not real. Fear is nothing more than a state of mind. Hill identified the following as 6 basic fears that every human being suffers from at one time or another. As you read through the list of the signs and symptoms of each fear, determine how many you have. Number 1, poverty. Among other things, the fear of poverty paralyzes your ability to reason, destroys imagination, kills off self-reliance, undermines enthusiasm, discourages initiative, leads to uncertainty, destroys ambition, invites failure in every conceivable form, leads to sleeplessness, misery, unhappiness. And 6 symptoms that show fear of poverty include indifference, indecision, doubt, worry over caution, and procrastination. Are any of those things listed above true for you? Take some time to consider this, because the fear of poverty is the most destructive of the 6 fears. Number 2, criticism. The fear of criticism robs initiative, destroys the power of imagination, limits individuality, erodes self-reliance. Here are 7 symptoms that show the fear of criticism: self-consciousness, lack of poise, weak personality, inferiority complex, extravagance, lack of initiative, lack of ambition. Number 3, ill health. Many people fear ill health because of the terrible pictures that they have planted in their mind of what may happen if sickness or death should overtake them. Consider the following questions to see if you have a fear of ill health. Do you look for and expect to find the symptoms of all kinds of diseases? Do you experiment with diets, physical exercise, home remedies without professional guidance? Are you in the habit of talking about illness or concentrating your mind upon disease while expecting its appearance? Are you susceptible to illness and disease because your resistance is low? Do you use imaginary illnesses as a lure for sympathy? Do you read about illness and worry about the possibility of being stricken with it? It's an interesting one. 4, lost love. Fear of loss of love grew out of the fear that men, or women, by nature are polygamist, and they are not to be trusted in the hands of rivals. Do you tend to be jealous or suspicious of people without any reasonable evidence? Are you in the habit of finding fault with friends, relatives, business associates, and loved ones at the slightest provocation or for no reason at all? Do you gamble or spend beyond your means because you believe or hope that you can buy love? If you answered yes to any of the questions above, you might have a fear of love. Number 5, old age. The most common cause of fear of old age is associated with the possibility of poverty. Other causes are the possibility of ill health and the possibility of loss of freedom and independence. If you have any of the following symptoms, you may have a fear of old age. Premature slowdown, you apologize for your age, you lose initiative, you masquerade as a younger person. And number 6, death. To some, this is the cruelest of all the basic fears, but as Napoleon Hill points out, if death is not mere change or transition, then nothing comes after death except a long, eternal, peaceful sleep. And since sleep is nothing to be feared, you may wipe out forever the fear of death. The following 3 symptoms show fear of death: thinking about dying, fear the onset of poverty in your life, and that your death will inflict poverty upon loved ones, mental depression after getting ill, or loss of love. Really important to listen to this with a piece of paper, go back, listen to it again, and write down your thoughts on those 6 fears and whether you suffer from them. And if so, the important thing is to how to move past them. Understand their fears. Fear's been described oftentimes as false evidence appearing real, which it usually is. And so if these are holding you back, work on them, conquer them, and I think you're going to find that they significantly improve your odds of success once you understand which ones you are afflicted by and you cure that affliction. If you have not already, go over to brucewhipple.com. There's free material there. There's courses on business acquisition that would be helpful. Courses on mindset as well. And certainly that's where most people struggle, is their mindset. So wanted to pass this on. I think it's a good piece, and I definitely know that it will help you if you take the time to analyze it and analyze your own self and activity.